Hello, this is Hello World. Getting started with your first program for C Sharp, Programming Broken Down. I've installed Visual Studio 2012 Community Edition. We're starting a new project, and that new project is going to be Windows Form app. If you don't see it, just scroll down to install more tools and features, and choose to install .NET Desktop Development. If after you've installed that, you'll go back up and you'll go to the Windows Form application and just make sure it says C# in this corner slash right there. We'll go to next and we'll call this Hello World 7 because I've already created 6 others. We're using .NET 6 framework. So just to start out, file lets you save your file, open new ones, create new ones, and all that good jazz. Edit lets you edit the code, find and replace, undo, and those. View lets you view any windows that have gone disappearing. Solution Explorer, where you can see your entirety of your solution, your project basically, and you can open all your project files from there. Properties window right here, you can see yours, properties, and you can also see toolbox right over there. Those are the 3 windows we'll be using today. Git lets you manage your team's code and modify team's code and collaborate. Project lets you do all the common project things. We'll deal with that more later. Build lets you build your solution. If you're having any build issues, you'll run here, and you can also do all of those cleaning and that sort of stuff. Debug lets you do all your advanced debugging so you can figure out where your problems are in your code. Format lets you do some code formatting and seeing and just making it look pretty. Test lets you automate tests to do automation testing, which we'll touch on later, but for now we'll just use manual testing. Analyze lets you look at your code and analyze it. Tools lets you go in and manage the Microsoft tools or Visual Studio's native tools. Extensions lets you add on third-party tools. Windows lets you change how your windows look and how they all behave. I especially like the reset windows layout if I ever mess up, because it's just annoying to find everything and put it back in its place. Help lets you see all the help documentation. And then search lets you find things where you're not entirely sure where they be. And then right underneath that we got our quick bars, which have open, saves, and run. We'll use this one whenever we want to run the project. Overall, that's our walkthrough of where everything is, but let's go into this toolbox, which has all of our common controls, and sometimes you'll have to expand this. And I like pinning this to the side just so I always have access to this. But we're going to use the label, and this label will display output to the screen, and is typically used to say what a input does, what you should enter into the input, or to display output. In this case, we're just going to display the words Hello World. Once we've done that, press enter, and then we'll run it. When we run it, it will pop up exactly like the user would see. So the user would only see the form 1 Hello World. They don't get to see all of the developer tools that we get to see. Well, there we go. That's our first program. But let's go ahead and add some code. If we go over here, we can right click and view code. And when we view the code, we can see we have a basic code. But let's go back to design and just double click anywhere on the blank screen. And this will bring in this code, which on form load, it'll run whatever inside the curly brackets. In this case, we want to change this label, which if we go over to the alphabetical and scroll to the top, we can see has a name of label 1. We want to change that label So we'll go ahead and say label 1. And then we want to change something about that label, so we'll use the period. And we want to change the text. Well, text is the property we just used to say hello world. And we want to change it, so we'll use the equal sign to indicate assignment. And we want to assign it to hello. And instead of using world, we're going to add a environment variable. Environment is based off of what system you're using, in this case my Windows machine, and the period will indicate something about the environment. In this case we'll just scroll on down till we find username and double click on that. So we want the environment username, which is current users logged in, which is Jimmy and Patton in my case. And then we can see this red squiggly. It gives us 3 suggestions on what to do. The correct solution is to add the semicolon to get rid of it. And then once we run this again, we'll see that it says hello Jimmy and Patton. And there we go. We've got a fully functional working C# program that has a line of code. Let's go ahead and view the designer. Now we're back to the designer. We see that it still says hello world. That's because the onload only happens when you run the program, which is why it's always important to run your programs and see what the actual behavior is. There we go. We've completed our first program. This is part of a full free course on programmingbrokendown.com. And you can join us in the Discord to ask any questions and get community support. Just go to the links in the description. Thank you, and see you next week for video 1 on learning input. Bye.